I'm going to put this up for a couple different reasons. One, to make everybody know that you don't have to bow to the United States government or ask for their permission about firearms. Now, I've kind of rubbed people the wrong way after I was on the chat and I made a video, and I think there was some misconstruction or misunderstanding about why I put the video out. Number one, as an American, you don't like to have to be confronted every doggone time you turn around. And we get to the point, it's like having a Marine drill instructor keep getting in your face. It's that kind of arrogant stuff like you get from the Democrats about gun control. You've got to confront them bastards. Period. You got to fight fire with fire. Now, I've said before about our Constitution, and here, I'm going to read this to you so you understand. This is a preamble to the Bill of Rights. Congress of the United States began and held at the city of New York on Wednesday, the 4th of March, 1789. And that was 2 years, people, before our Constitution was ratified. But this is part of your Constitution. The convention of a number of the states having at the time of their adopting the Constitution expressed a desire in order to prevent misconstruction or abuse of its powers that further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added. And as extending the ground of public confidence in the government will best ensure that the benefits and of the Constitution. Resolved by the Senate and the House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress, assembled, 2/3 of both houses concurring that the following articles be proposed to the legislation of the several states as amendments to the Constitution of the United States, all or any of which articles, when ratified by 3/4 of the said legislature, will be valid for all intents and purposes as part of the said Constitution. Like I said, this was put in place in 1789. It wasn't until 2 years later that it was ratified and preserved for every American citizen the right to keep and bear arms without government interference. None. Says articles in addition to the amendments of the Constitution of the United States of America proposed by Congress and ratified by the legislature of several states pursuant to the 5th article of the original Constitution. So that's what I've been trying to tell you. I didn't mean to rub anybody the wrong way, but these are your rights. And we've got to stand up for our rights when you get some arrogant Democrat get into your face about gun control. They have no power, no authority. After the word infringe, in your Second Amendment, after the word infringed, you see any subparagraphs A, B, C, or D which might stipulate what an acceptable infringement might be? No, there's none there. So none is allowed. None. All those firearm laws, people, are not constitutional laws. They are political laws. They should never have been on the books. But the arrogant Democrats back at that time started this stuff, and we just kept complying because we've been conditioned to obey laws. But these laws are not, they're not legal. They're unconstitutional. And you are not bound to obey any unconstitutional law. That's what I've been trying to tell you. They've gotten away with this. The people are conditioned, well, we got to jump through this hoop and jump through that hoop. Bullshit. You don't need a background check. You don't need the government's permission about firearms. You don't. It's null. Any law that rubs against the Constitution is null and void. It's like it had never had been written. So get used to this. Understand what I'm trying to say, and I'm sorry if I rubbed anybody the wrong way. I didn't mean to, but sometimes I used to be like these guys, and when they'd say, well, you've got to sign this paper and sign that paper and pay this tax and pay that tax, and you don't. But I did. I remember back in the 70s when they started that thing about you had to sign for ammo. Bullshit. But I did anyway, because I wanted to get it. You sign all them papers so you can buy a firearm. I'm sorry, people. It's not in the Constitution. If it's not written in the Constitution about their enumerated powers, if it's not listed, they don't have that power. But they've tried to twist and turn and spin words so they had more power. And if our Supreme Court cannot see that, if they choose to ignore it and just want to stay with political laws and not constitutional laws, we got a big problem with justice in the United States of America. And you have to make a real quick adjustment. They break the law, they go to jail. They break the law, they get shot. We've got to take this country back, one way or another. Okay, I'll put a link to this so you people can read this and understand where I was coming across. They never had a power or authority vested in them by the Constitution to pass any firearm laws, period. That's why they wrote down there, it says, in order to prevent misconstruction or abuse of its power, that further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added so that it would extend the grounds of public confidence in the government itself. Because we can't trust the government. You can see what happens. Okay, I'll put a link.